AppalArts interview series. I'm here with Tanner and Amanda Blevins in Tanner's apartment.
Yeah, this is my place.
Alright, it's a very cool setup here. This is the practice space where they play with their band Wicked Peace. Alright, so just each one of you if you want to just introduce yourselves and what you are doing with life right now.
Well, I'm Tanner. I'm 20 years old. I'm a student here at Morehead State, and about not quite a year ago, I've been playing music for a while, but not quite a year ago we started this band, and that's been taking up a lot of time here lately, so that's pretty much what I've been doing. Just been down here making music, or back home making music in some way.
Well, I'm Amanda, and I'm 22, and I'm a student here at Morehead too, and my major's education. I'm getting ready to do my student teaching, getting ready to graduate actually. And yeah, about 6 months ago or so, Tanner was like, when you're forming a band, you need to be in it. And I was like, alright, so that's what we've been doing recently.
Alright, very cool. Could you tell me more about how the band came to be?
Okay, I can tell you that story. It was, we would all just just sitting around not doing anything. Like, it was just me and my buddies would sit around at my friend Scott's house, and we just really wouldn't do anything. We'd always have these big plans. We just we need to do this, we need to make a really cool video, we need to go out and do this, but we'd never do it. And one day somebody said, we need to form a band. I don't even remember if it was me that said it or somebody that doesn't even play, but I was like, we're actually going to do that. So we just started, I hit up my buddy Pat, I knew played guitar, and then I had a friend that played the drums, hit up Amanda to sing, and then started teaching my friend Chad to play the bass, and we just started from there. It was just one of those crazy plans that we never thought would actually go through, and then it was just too fun not to keep going with it.
I remember they came over to my house just after they had been talking about that, and they wrote their first song. Him and Pat wrote their first song together at my house a few days later.
And where did the name Wicked Peace come from?
The name Wicked Peace was our buddy Scott. He's if you watch any of our music videos, he's the big guy that's always in our music videos. He's one of our best friends, like all of us. And we were over at my house. I think it was just me, Patrick, and Scott were at his old house, and we were just sitting around. We had a big piece of paper, we were just listing names, and a bunch of crazy, just random names came out. And one time Scott just said, Wicked Peace, and I was like, what? And he just repeated it, and I was like, I don't know, I had a good warm feeling from it, so I was like, that's got to be it. And we all over time, we all just agreed to it. It grew on all of us, and we just stuck with it.
Could you tell me more about the songwriting process?
Well, I guess me and Amanda write most of the music, but I think we both have our own way of doing it. But mostly what I do is, it'll either just be me with my acoustic guitar, and I'll find a chord or a chord progression that I like, or find a lyric that I like and try to just write around that. And then I bring it into, after I get most of it done or a lot of it done, I'll bring it into the rest of the band, and me and Pat will sit down and make some riffs up, or we'll sit down with the drums or whatever and just jam out until we get something we like. But that's my way of doing it. I don't know how really Amanda starts hers out. She can.
Well, yeah, I usually do about the same, but sometimes I'll try to sit down and I'll try to write something and I just can't. But then later that day I'll be in the shower and something will just come to my head, and then I'll just write it down and it'll just all come out so fast. And then I'll go play it for Tanner, and then it'll just come together and work on it. He came up to me right when he was starting to write music, and he was playing me these songs. I was like, oh, those are so good. And he was like, let me hear some of your songs you wrote. And I was like, I don't write songs. And he was like, well, you need to start. And so that's when it all started.
I feel at one time, I know she had written songs before, but she just wanted me to, I think. But I had wrote something that, I just started writing a song, and I didn't feel like it was I felt like it was a girl song. So I took it to Amanda, and I just wrote maybe one verse of it, and I had the chorus set out, and I just said, you finish this song. And so that was our first song. We didn't really I don't really write too much as far as lyrics go with anyone, but that was our first one that we had wrote together, and that was how it all started. Then after that, Amanda started showing me, I don't know if she'd already wrote them or she had just started writing then, but she started showing me her songs that she wrote, and she might write even more than I do now.
What's each of your favorite song that you've ever written?
I'd say my favorite one that I've written is It's actually like the second or third song I wrote. It's called By Now. It's like I don't know. I wrote some that I like, but I don't know. That one it means a lot to me. And I think that's just my favorite one. It might not be my favorite one to play anymore, but it's probably my favorite one that I've written so far, I think.
My favorite one is probably Liar, because that was the first song I ever wrote, and I was like, oh, this sounds good. And I was like proud of it, so that's probably my favorite one.
Now, you mentioned By Now, and I know that song is it's about a relationship that's ended, and I've noticed a lot of your songs are about a relationship that's ended. Could you do you base it on actual relationships, and is it multiple relationships that you're writing about, or?
Okay, most of the songs that I've written so far that were on our first album were about one of two girls, and they're mostly true. Like maybe one or two are just kind of exaggerated, but mostly it's just true, actual connections that I've had in my life. And if I have like a mean song, like I have a couple mean songs, like I have one called Coma, and It All Falls Down. That's about this girl that I dated in high school who is just awful, complete, mean, terrible. And like By Now and a couple other songs I wrote, the nice ones, are about like a kind of something I missed out on because I was stuck in the mean relationship. So they kind of connect together. Like they were both going on at the same time. Like I had a crush on this one girl, and then I was with this awful girl instead. And so I kind of that's my main two relationships that I wrote about.
All right. What about you, Amanda? What are your songs based on?
Yeah, they're just based on like spurts of emotions that I get, and they're all real, I guess.
All right, very cool. Let's see. You talked about your album Conclusions.
Yeah.
Did you all have like a sort of theme in mind when you were writing those songs, or did you just kind of write a bunch of songs and decide to put them on there? How was that process?
We didn't really like think about it at first, but I don't know. Pat kind of came up with the idea of the album being named Conclusions, and we just kind of thought it's like a lot of the songs we had already wrote kind of came like it was just talking about conclusions we had came to about certain things that had happened or certain relationships we had had. So we kind of thought that all tied it all together. We didn't really write it necessarily thinking they all had to be connected. I just wrote what I felt to write, and Amanda wrote whatever she felt to write, and then they all just came together, and we thought that Conclusions kind of wrapped it all in. So we didn't necessarily write for it, but I think it all kind of came connected in the end.
Could you all talk about the process that you all have went through to distribute your music and also to kind of get the word out about Wicked Peace?
A lot of what we do is just use our Twitter, tweet it out, and everybody in the band or all of our friends, we try to get them to share it on their Twitter and stuff. Just use a lot of social media, and we just post the album. There's a couple different places you can find it online, and on random days I'll just go on Twitter and say, hey, check out this song, so people can still try to get it out there. Or the only other way we kind of go about it is just like at our shows when we play, we'll have CDs, and we'll just say, hey, we're selling CDs, or you can find our music online, and just spread it that way. And I think another way our music spreads a lot is like my mom just gets on her Facebook and talks about it like every single day. So that's kind of
Everybody has to see it then.
Yeah.
She says it every day.
She doesn't stop talking about it, so that's probably how we get a few of our views.
Our moms are our biggest fans. Yeah.
Definitely. I can agree with that.
Yeah. Speaking of which, could you all talk about the video that you all made for your mom?
That was
For Mother's Day.
yeah, it was for Mother's Day, and
He came to me with the song. He wrote it.
yeah, I wrote that song, and me and Amanda's goal usually on Mother's Day is to make our mom cry. So like if we don't do that, we kind of feel like we failed for that year's gift. But I had wrote that song. We had played the song for her before, but I just thought we needed to get like a good recording of it out, and we did it pretty quick. I just called Amanda and said we need to do that song. We met. It was like the last day we went home before Mother's Day, I think. We got to the studio, and we recorded our parts, and then had Patrick, the guy, the guitar player in the band, come in and filmed us just sitting around, and we just kind of threw a bunch of pictures in there from that we had scanned on the computer and stuff. It was, and we kind of done it in like one day, but I'm glad how it turned out, and it did make her cry. So it was pretty simple, but I liked it.
That was an awesome video, and it's an awesome song, and you guys are very talented musicians, and I really enjoy listening to your all's music. And I was just wondering, what is it like playing with a sibling, kind of making music with a sibling versus making music with like your best friend or just anybody else?
Well,
It's better.
yeah, it's
It's
awesome.
just fun. Like, it's just fun to have that relationship with my brother, even more than just like a sibling. We're always writing music, always playing together. And
It's been a lot of fun. I like to just hear new stuff that Amanda's wrote more than and I don't know, I feel like where I just know her story because we live together and stuff. If I hear her song, I know what she's talking about and I can just connect to it more. And it's just fun just taking what Amanda's wrote and just being able to add what I can do to it, and then I feel like we have a connection just where we're brother and sister to where we can just make something sound good. So it's been a lot of fun.
Where do you all see Wicked Peace going in the future?
Hopefully far. I don't know.
it'd be cool if we went far.
We always talk about it and joke about, when we get big, we're going to do this and this, and people say that, but I mean, who knows where it's going to go. Somehow, if I can just be poor and not have any money, but just play music forever, then I'll be completely happy. But hopefully we just get so big that no one can stop us and we're just famous. I don't know.
Very cool. I noticed, I went to one of your all's concerts a couple weeks ago, and I noticed that you all are very coordinated when you're playing, and I looked at your all's Facebook and saw that you did that often. Now, whose idea is that, and how does that happen?
You mean as far as movement goes?
Or the way we dress.
The way you
Oh, the way we dress. Okay.
Yes.
Well, we were gonna play up at the Brick House.
Yeah. We played
Not
there.
the last time when you were there, but the previous
We played
time.
there a couple times.
And everybody was kind of wearing the same colors, and so Pat, the guitar player, was like, "Yeah, let's all wear greenish or bluish," and so we all wore those colors. And then the next time we were like, "That was a good idea. Let's all wear black and white."
Yeah.
And that was my mom's idea, though. She's kind of like the band stylist.
She named herself band stylist. So.
Yeah.
Because my mom's definitely our biggest fan, and she always wants us to look really cool.
Yeah.
And so we had the first time that we had tried to match, and it kind of just happened that day. We didn't really plan it out. This time, we have a group chat with everybody in the band. We said, hey, we're gonna wear black and white, and we all started the stuff we was wearing at the Brick House. The one when you saw us wasn't stuff we'd all normally wear, and I have a funny story about it. I was in the bathroom getting dressed, and I heard everybody was talking about what Logan was wearing. He had a vest on and a hat, and I was like, man, I got to do something crazier than he did. So I went and found a scarf and my dad's blazer and the tightest jeans I had and brown shoes, and I was just trying to dress as crazy as I could. And we had our bass player Chad in a pink tank top and a black button up and my skinny jeans. And you guys don't know Chad, but that's crazy that we had that happen, because he doesn't wear anything like that ever. But I do like the all coordinating and wearing similar clothes. And I think we should, when we play, we should try to wear clothes that we wouldn't normally wear. That way, I don't know, it just looks cool. That way people just say, hey, if they even see us just walking around, they say, that person's got to be in a band. That's my goal.
Yeah, and I mean, I imagine it's very much almost like a family Wicked Peace is, and how does, just what's the dynamic when you're practicing and when you're performing, what's it like?
Yeah, it's definitely almost like a family. Everybody, except for Patrick, all of us went to elementary school together, so we just know each other, and I feel we just met him a couple years ago, but I feel like he's just...
He fits right in.
Yeah, he's just
the same.
automatically one of our best friends, and it's just we're all so close. I feel like when we start playing, I don't know, whenever somebody starts playing something, I'm just sometimes I feel like they're just predicting what I wanted to happen. Like, Pat will start playing a riff, I'm like, that was perfect. That's what I imagined, I just couldn't play it. I feel like we all have good vibes with each other because we're so close, and I don't know. We just run off each other. I don't know.
And it's always fun. It's just like hanging out with your friends all the time.
Yeah. This is our first, like, we just moved in here, and we haven't really got to all get down here and practice yet, but I think it's going to be hard to ever leave, to just go to class or anything, because we're just going to want to sit out here because we have such a good time just sitting and jamming or riding together, and it's just going to be a lot of fun.
Could each of you kind of tell me who your artistic role model is, and just who was your inspiration as you developed artistically?
For me, it was Taylor Swift. Like, when I was like 16, I loved her, and she was the only reason I ever learned to play guitar. And she's just such a great songwriter. I love her. All of her songs, her lyrics are so good. So she's definitely my number one role model.
It's a really hard question for me because the people that I've listened to so many different types of music. Like, me and my friends talk about, we just go through kicks. Like, I'll just start listening to a certain kind of music for a long time, and that'll be my favorite, and then I'll just totally shift gears and go to something else. But I feel like what I write doesn't sound like any people that I listen to, like, exactly. Like, I just don't really know what style it is. So I don't really know who I would consider my biggest inspiration.
Do you all consider yourselves to be Appalachian musicians or musicians that happen to be from Appalachia?
Well, we definitely don't play the typical Appalachian music.
It's definitely different.
But I feel like being from here definitely has something to do with our originality and what we're doing. So a little both, I guess. I'd like to incorporate some more like of the traditional Appalachian like style into our music, like different instruments and stuff. I'm planning on probably trying to learn some more traditional like Appalachian, try to have some of our roots in our music. But right now I think it's definitely not the typical Appalachian music, but I'd say we're a little bit of both. We're from here, but we're not necessarily the Appalachian music, but hopefully we will incorporate some of that into our style.
Let's hear about your upcoming shows.
Okay, we have a show in Bowling Green coming up at a hookah bar, Cloud9 Hookah. And we've played there before, and they invited us back, and it's a long drive, and we end up making less money than we spend on the trip probably, but it's a lot of fun. And a gig I'm really excited about, we don't have the exact date yet, but we're doing like somewhere in Paintsville, we're going to do like a 70s and 80s cover gig and like do some of our own songs too. But they asked us if we could cover 70s and 80s, so that's kind of what we're working on right now, just getting some classic covers down. And hopefully we're going to get to play Apple Day in Paintsville.
That's what I'm pretty excited about.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be, if we get to do that, that's going to be the best, the funnest thing we've done so far.
A real stage.
What's your favorite place that you've played at so far?
My favorite's the Brick House in Prestonsburg, because that's when like all of our close friends, they live right there and they all come up, and like that's been the best, I think. There's always a lot of people there.
And that one's definitely been a fun one because at the Brick House they kind of say, hey, yeah, you can play however long you really want to. So we usually get to play almost all our songs, whatever covers we want to do. But the last time we played at Cloud9 Hookah, there was just the crowd, like it was people we didn't know. And it was like our age people, and usually like at the Brick House there's a lot of like grown-ups, and so it was cool that it was just like our age kids was there, but we didn't get to play like as long as I would have liked to, but it was still, that one was a lot of fun too. Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
Oh yeah, that might have been our coolest show.
Coolest show. We played, okay, I want to tell a story first. Pat's from Owen County, and if anybody's seen, we have a video cover of Folsom Prison by Johnny Cash, and he, one of Pat's teachers had been showing his class, and we heard about it. I was like, that's pretty cool. Like everybody in that middle school was like watching our video, and like he was showing it in class. And one day they invited us down to play like a talent show. Like it was like an American Idol setup. We were like the judges, and then at the end of the show we come up and played. And when we played like Folsom Prison, they all just got really excited. And it was really, really cool. And then after the show, it was like they thought we were famous, I guess.
Yeah.
Because they all just came up,
Wanted
and it was
pictures.
everybody in the entire grade was just surrounded us. We're yelling and trying to take pictures and trying to get autographs so much. Like they had to say, "Okay, guys, we got to make a line and stuff," because it was just hectic. These kids just thought we were famous. That was actually definitely
that was the
shit.
coolest.
I forgot about that. That was just mind blowing. They were little kids, but it was just they thought we were famous. So it was awesome.
All right. Thank you guys so much. I know that you guys are very busy with school about to start. We look forward to hearing more from Wicked Peace and from each of you in the future. All right. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And